Welcome to DT Madness, Chronicles from the Third Life, episode 115, December 14th, 2024. So glad you could make it. Well, there's nowhere else to start but to tell you that I've been thinking about getting into ceremonial cacao. Yeah, I remember, I don't know, man, it's been some years ago. It was definitely Second Life when Sarah and I and the Ketterings and the Stevens and maybe the Rhodes. I can't remember if there was a fourth couple or not, but we went up to Asheville to the Chocolate Lounge, but we went to the place where they actually make the chocolate and did the tour. And that was the first time I had heard it pronounced something other than cocoa. And of course the bean, is it a nut? I think it's a bean. Cacao. That guy kept saying it, and we had a good time mocking that, as we are from Cleveland County and don't get out much. Um, so yeah, but fast forward then how many ever years? 6, 7, 8 years, and thinking about getting into ceremonial cacao. What makes it ceremonial is that I think it's from the Mayans, which I are my direct, like, not direct, but what do you say, like distant relatives. I think I come from the Mayan people, and they would sit around and pass the wooden cup of cacao around pure, you know, and be intentional and be grounded and mindful and all of those things. I don't really plan to sit in a circle of more than one, but I will create my own ceremony. And so, part of it has to do with that, but also it's really, really good for you, apparently. And, um, it's a thing I actually saw where if even if you aren't drinking cacao, you can still tap into the cacao energy. It's just out there, and so I'm looking forward to digging into that as well. But it's dark chocolate. I've heard is good for you, and you're supposed to have 70% or more of cacao. But then when I read about this, like, even that stuff has been processed and sugar added, and so really the only true pure cacao is what you want, and it's got theobromine, which Isaac says that if you drop bromine on the floor, it burns right through it. So I'm not sure how the theo changes it, but it's a different type of stimulant. It's a mm, cardiac something opener, something like that, instead of just a nervous system and exciter like coffee is. And I'm thinking about sleep. I'm thinking about jitters. I'm thinking about these types of things, and I mean, I don't overly have anxiety issues at this moment, but I've been thinking about letting go of coffee, or at least making it into a more of a special occasion kind of deal. Where I would think if I were to go for the next month without coffee, and then have a nice cup of Joe down in the place at Hilton Head, then that would be a nice boost, pick me up kind of thing. But I also consider where's this line? I mean, I'm getting older, and that's a part of this whole deal for sure. So I have to be more considerate of the things that I put into my body, although I probably should have been more considerate when I wasn't getting older. But where's the line between, living life, enjoyment, and sensations, like indulgence, even? Where's that line? I mean, I've with good ice cream, or whatever it is that is your particular. I think sometimes we've been trained to call those vices. And where's the line? And I'm wrestling with that too, because I do want to get the most out of life. And so, in a way, the ceremonial cacao is my attempt, my reach towards feeling better, enhancing my senses, enhancing my awareness, and those types of things. It isn't so much a punishment of, oh, I got to get rid of coffee. It isn't like that. But I am trying to find that particular balance. And I think about it. They talk about it as your new ritual, as your new kind of program. And I've been thinking about, what are mine? What are my particular rituals that I go through on a relatively daily basis? And those types of practices that do bring you back to the eye, back to the mind. I've thought also about getting into, I tried mud water one time, and I didn't stay with it for long. And that was the mushroom coffee. I've been looking into getting the Rise, RYZE cocoa for sleep. It also has cacao and some other types of things, and it has melatonin in it, which I've been taking this kind of like generic Walmart, the green and yellow bottle, whatever. It's 5 mgs. I've only done it like 3 or 4 times, but when school is underway and I get up early, if I wake up at 3 a.m., it's really difficult to get back to sleep. I think in large part because of the anticipation. I think that's a huge part of it. But that I know I'm about to start the day, and I'm really productive and alert from 4 a.m. until sometimes just after lunch. I get a whole bunch done. My mind is really clear. I've slept from maybe 9 p.m. until 3, which is 6 hours, but because math. But I could, I think a couple more hours a night would be good. And so trying out that ritual, trying out the whatever else it's got in it, L-theanine, some other types of things that I've read about in the alternative world. Um, we'll see, man. I don't know. It's a money back guarantee kind of deal. So I can, after 20 days, if I'm not satisfied, I can get my cash back on that, and I'll keep looking into that. And actually, did I say it? I did pull the trigger on that one. I didn't just think about that one. So and through all of this, I think about what Dr. Ernst would say. Dr. Aaron Ernst is a chiropractor, functional medicine guy in Charlotte, and he is um, it's I don't we got recommended to him some years ago, when Sarah was really dealing with thyroid type issues, and we went there and had tried out all the other different types of drugs and medicines, and we went to him, and he prescribed this basic, like, I mean, bone broth cleansing type, and then basically keto type diet, but eliminating sugars, eliminating all this kind of stuff, and then chiropractic care and all these types of things. And it paid huge dividends. And I did it too, not to the same level as Sarah did, but I tried that as well. And that type of thinking, that type of medicine has risen all the way to the top. I mean, that's why RFK Jr. is considered for Health and Human Services. And I'm not making a statement about whether I think that's good or bad. I'm just saying that that vein of thinking, that vein of, we got to be more careful about what we're eating. And the FDA isn't always telling you the truth, or the USDA, like back in the day, they classified pizza as a vegetable, these types of things. So I do think about what Dr. Ernst would say. And we, but yeah, anyway, um, it's the cacao spirit is a frequency, though. Don't forget, that can be called upon even when not drinking cacao. I'm doing good, though. I don't mean to say like I'm not off the rails at all. In fact, my diet is very good. chia seeds have been added to my overnight oats with my blueberries, and I eat a bunch of that kind of stuff. And when I look up like the lists that come out sometimes of what the superfoods are that you should eat, I'm eating pretty much all of them. Getting back into broccoli, which is awful, but I'm trying. Probably should get into some like roasted red peppers or something like that. But I'm doing really well, like spinach and olive oil, not as much bread, not hardly any, not as much sugar. My snacks are 16 grapes because that's what a serving size is. And so I looked up red grapes are supposed to have the thing that you want. So I got me some red grapes and we pack 16 red grapes in my little Tupperware every day. Although I probably should use something besides Tupperware because the kids at FFA yesterday did a science research and they said that we eat about a credit card's worth of plastic every year. So maybe I need to get into some different containers. When does it end? Um, but I'm gonna go have my 16 grapes here in just a bit, and so I'm doing really well. I'm not binging on ice cream. Um, I've got the Halo top or whatever, which I don't know what's probably I don't know probably something that you don't want in there. So anyway, I'm still massaging all of that type of health conscious type thinking. And you know what? There's some rituals that I can easily achieve. I don't know that I will continue with the cocoa for sleep or if I'll get into the ceremonial cacao or if I'll, wake up and burn some incense or something like that. But I can continue to do my stretches and I do on a fairly regular basis. Stretching in the morning, kind of my own little yoga routine with my deep breathing and my consciousness focused towards my kids, but today, um, and I can do that kind of stuff. I could be more focused at the Y. We got our membership back for the Y, and I actually just got back from there, and I was I did some weights today, and I got no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing. I need to find out a little bit better. I almost got this Fitbod app. It showed up. I'm a sucker for this, like on Instagram. Like when there's an app and one of you has liked it, like when I see that Fitbod is followed by Anna Colmar, then I'm like, oh well, she must know something that I don't. She must have already done some research on this. And so then it's so easy for me to just fall into signing up and filling out the quizzes and all that kind of stuff. And it's AI based app and designs your workouts for you and all these kinds of things. And it's, I don't know, $6 a month, something like that. Not overly terrible, but I was like, you know what? I've got a general idea and I'm pretty basic here. I know just do some curls and some push-ups and some presses and some pulls. I'm never good at legs. I'm going to try to do that tomorrow. Watch one of my old friends ride the Stairmaster machine today, like the whole time I was on the elliptical. And I'm thinking, man, I couldn't go 2 minutes on that thing, but I'm gonna try it out tomorrow. So I don't know that I need to get the Fitbod app, but going to the Y and being disciplined, being consistent with this intensity that I have, um, where can I focus? Where can I focus it? I have to find some different outlets for it. I'm gonna definitely clean out. I made a list of things to declutter over Christmas break. Different drawers and cabinets, and I've got way too many shirts. So I need to go through my closets and pull out some of these shirts. I'm a sucker for buying graphic tees, and then the moment passes and I don't much wear them anymore. But Sam will wear them. He likes to collect, so that works out pretty good. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna do some cleaning. I do want to write. I think that's a place that I could really focus my intensity and one of the things with the ceremony or one of the things with the intention of the mushroom coffee type stuff is waking up and being mindful and journaling in the morning and things like that. And I don't know, like this is kind of my journaling. So I don't know that there's another place for that or if there needs to be another place. But writing when I have some extra time, and I've got to find a place to do that. Um, and I thought if I could figure out a way to set up shop down at the river and take my laptop down there, then maybe that would be a place to do it. But I mean, I want to write about the timeline really just to start the timeline of first life, second life into third life, and then try to go back and reprocess some of those things from my viewpoint now, 47 years in. Try to process that stuff on a much deeper level, and you know, really begin to wrestle with the the shadows that I have. The Really begin to wrestle with the deep seated. I say up front that I don't have these anxieties, and it's not a daily, it's not overtly there on a daily basis, but there's this deep seated anxiety that still rears up when I consider doctor's visits. I did the eye doctor, I did the dentist, and so we're rolling along here. Um, I know that I need to go and get some screens. I just need to go get some screens. Why wouldn't you, DT? Why wouldn't you? And that's that is the question, isn't it? And when I think about that, when I visualize myself sitting in the doctor's office or waiting on the results or anticipating the looks and trying to read the looks on faces and considering the fact that I don't want these things, I don't want to be unhealthy. I'm not good at visualizing the best case scenario in these instances. Um, I don't think, I don't think, but these are the things I need to sit down with. I don't think that it's death that I'm overly consumed by. Certainly don't want to suffer. I watched my dad go through that. He said that pain is um, pain is inevitable, but suffering is voluntary. I will remember that when my time comes, if it does. And but it's just words like diagnosis and prognosis, the potential fallout from those visits. I think the way that I've labeled it in my mind is that I'm concerned about letting people down. Like I really Sydney, is getting into colleges. And she's prepping and finishing up her senior year. Isaac's about to get his driver's license, and he's beginning to think about colleges for the first time. He's blossoming into the leader that he always was and has been. Sam has student teaching on the horizon and big life decisions, and I don't want to throw a wrench in those plans, and I know that that's ridiculous. Rationally, I do. Um, but those are the things that I really want to sit with. I want to go and sit at the river and allow those emotions. I want to allow that my gut to wrench up. That's what happens. There's this flood of flutters, kind of, that are either in my chest or in my gut. There's a clenching. There's a, 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 a cascade of thoughts, and I want to dig. I want to dig. I don't want to just sit here where I am and feel this comfort. That sounds so crazy, I think, to say. I've been reading. I've been reading like a madman. I had four books going at once. I just finished them, pretty much all of them. The one story I think I said last week, the Backman short story, I did not really enjoy. I read The Stranger by Camus, and that was wild. That was a wild story, kind of. Yeah, I mean, I read All Fours by, what is her name, Miranda July, and that is, like I said last week, quite the romp. But the way that it concludes, some of the words at the end they reverberate very, very loudly with me, and almost into a rallying cry. And I read Nietzsche, the thus spoke there Zarathustra, and wow, that was some kind of thing. And I don't know that I subscribe to that. I don't think I view the way that things that he does, but I take some of it. Like, I do want to bust out of this kind of regular man kind of sense, and like that I've submitted in some ways, and I do want to be more. mm. But anyway, those are the ones I've read. I don't, where to next is with the reading. I've got the Midnight Library. I've got Infinite Jest by Foster Wallace that I never really got too far into the postmodern madness. I still have to read Les Mis. Lord of the Rings is always an option. It's another Kristen Hanna book. We'll see where it goes. Thought about buying some organic dusting spray. I used to use the Method kind with that almond flavor. Can't remember if that's the kind Sydney doesn't like. And because again, like I thought about the ritual part of cleaning. I love it. I love cleaning. You know about my uh, fanatical desire of blowing off the driveway, which it will likely happen today. And I love cleaning. I used to have DT's cleaning service, and I like that the things were scattered and not clean, and now they are. That there is a ritual healing cleansing type thing to that for me. And so, I'm looking around, and I don't do a lot of dusting, or wood polishing, those types of things. And so I think I added that to my list. And but then I thought, you know what, my house isn't really very big, and so how much do I really want to invest in dusting spray? And then I thought, on the other hand, why not? Why not take care in each task? Why not take care and polish the bookshelves, or the table that my dad made, and remember and rejoice, and nothing at all, just be present and notice the wood grains and those types of things. So why not? One of the things that Nietzsche said was, don't complain about the falling leaves. The cycles go on, and death and decay are a part of joy. um, I just have this sense of being in a chrysalis. Like, it isn't a negative thing. It has been. I have viewed it this way, and maybe you've heard it over the past several episodes of like a stuckness, of a trapped kind of stuck, and how do I bust out? You like that sound effect? But I do feel more like it's like I'm in a chrysalis. I mean, I look up to see what I just said about the reading part. Where to next? And there must be something more than this, like Trey sings, being and becoming. I feel like I'm becoming I more so than ever. I'm dropping these shackles and chains of worry about what other people think about me, that I've carried with me, that I've trudged along with for my whole entire life. And man, that feels a way for me to say that, like that, out loud. So I do feel like I'm becoming me, I, more so than ever, and I want to keep climbing that mountain. That's what I want. But knowing, as Persig says, has taught me in Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance, that the sides of the mountain are what sustain life. The sides of the mountain are very, very important. And sometimes it's better to travel than to arrive. Hmm. So anyway, I don't know. That was a good tea time there with Mara struggling with and wrestling with the shadows, the demons, the doubts, the enemy, whatever it is you have been uh, led to call those types of things. I want to invite them in to the tent as the Buddha did. I got a Buddha ornament up on the tree. It's it's in honor of Pop, man. He taught me about Thich Nhat Hanh. He taught me um, to dive into different ways of thinking. He taught me about Robert Pirsig and Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance. I remember getting hit in the chest in baseball in Little League and like knocked the breath out of me. And I was kind of stumbling down the third baseline. And he came up to me and was like, "Do your Zen breathing." And I was like, I didn't know what that was at the time, but I do now. So we got this ornament on the top of our tree is a paper, a yellow construction paper star that the kids had made at some point along the way, and it goes on the top, and then just below on the branches just below goes an angel that one of the ladies made for us, one of the nurses made or some gave to us um, when Sam was born, and it was that low country. Hey, this is for the baby. They would give you the low country. We were down in Florence, South Carolina, and that goes on the tree every year, and on that same level is the Buddha ornament that we have. Um, and we think about my dad with that, and so that's pretty cool. My uncle Bill passed away. He was my mom's older brother, older by like 15, 16 years. One of the one of the kinder, more peaceful, calm men I've known. He was a good fellow. Um, the words that when you go to funerals and things like this, the words that are spoken about taking care of the people who are left behind, about all the heartache and the sorrow and the sadness and the how am I going to do it without him, and those types of things hit closer and closer to home for me because of my dad, because I know what it's like to have a wave crash over you, not even of sadness necessarily, but of longing, of longing to just hear one more off-colored joke while watching Bones or something like that. And because I'm a dad, those words hit closer to home, and so I consider what those will mean when it's uh, my wake. Um, Sydney did get into Campbell to wrap up this reflective episode. Um, she got in yesterday. We'll find out soon about merit-based scholarships for her and what that will mean. And then January 20, I'm sorry, 15th. So we got about a year, we got about a month. It will be next year. And we'll find out about Furman, and then we'll begin to put all that stuff on the scale and see what's going to happen. I hope that between now and then, Campbell comes back and says, "Hey, you want to come to school for free?" If they do, then I probably will go ahead and buy the Fish New Year's Eve tickets. I had given up, man. We bought the car. I bought my new car, and which is fine. Like that's fine. That was in the plans all along. We just accelerated it by a couple months. Car insurance is going to be a real thing. We've got the new car, and now we've got Isaac about to be on it. So I've got to consider that. We've got our out west trip, all that kind of stuff. And so I'm thinking about these big chunks. But man, where's that line? Where's that line between sucking the marrow out of life and choking on the bone? Where's that line? Uh, and so, man, I've been to New Year's Eve the last 2 years, or the first 2 days, first 2 or 3 days. I might just go for the 28th and 29th this year if I did. It's fallen back way below like way below 1%, and then it crept back up, man. I don't know. Like I got really close to making it happen yesterday. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. I'd have to ride on the airplane with the regular people. I don't think I could pull it off where I would get to ride in my front seat like I like. Um, so all that to say, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, well, this has been a Church of Six production, brought to you by the Bucket of Life, the Rope of Relationship, the Foundation Tower of Stone, the Wall of Belief, the Token of Hope, the Magic Rock times one received and one given. I think about the Bucket of Life. I think about the Church of Six and where my relationships are at this time. And that's okay. And I'm more and more okay with the makeup of the Church of Six. I got dear friends who live in other places. I've got friends who are kind of budding relationships, but don't necessarily look the same way as ones have in the past. And there's a real nice satisfaction. Is complacent a bad word? There's a complacency. Yeah, I think that's not the right word. I feel good about the Church of Six. Nothing divine is desperate. In order to be, try to never seem. May all your circumstances serve to awaken compassion. And as you go, teach peace. Don't forget to believe, y'all, and be live. Grace and peace, my friends.